Well, my friends, the seed catalogs have arrived, and I don't know about you, but this is definitely the time of year when we are planning for our next garden and taking stock of which seeds need to be purchased. Today I want to share with you 5 seed purchasing mistakes that I have made in hopes that you can avoid making these yourself. The first mistake I have made is ordering seeds without inventorying what I already have. One of the issues I sometimes run into is that I don't put my seeds back right away after I have planted. So for instance, in my beans container, I don't have any seeds in here. But that's not because I don't have bean seeds. That's just because I didn't put back the seeds that I had used during last growing season. So let's see what I have available after I put them away. So I found that I actually have quite a few bean seeds available. Now, some of these are a bit on the older side. Beans typically have a seed life of 2 to 3 years. And a couple of these packages are from 2016. Now, I could just go ahead and toss these away, but sometimes the seed life actually extends longer than the 2 to 3 years that it says on the package. I've tried to keep these in the house in a cool location that was dry, so hopefully, since the storage has been somewhat decent, these will have a longer life. In a future video, I'll show you a test that we can run so that we can see if some of these older seeds actually still have a fairly decent germination rate, or whether the seed is not really any good and we should go ahead and toss them. So at this point, I can see that I have plenty of bean seed and I don't need to buy any more this year. The other reason why I need to inventory seeds is that I shared with you in the fall that it wasn't too early to purchase seeds for the upcoming year. So I had purchased a few seeds from the end of last year's growing season that would be good into the next year or so. And because I had already purchased seeds at a discounted rate, there are some things that I won't need to buy this year. And that's another reason why inventorying what I already have is so important before I place an order for new seed. The second seed purchasing mistake that I have made is purchasing seeds that are not suitable for my grow zone. When there are some areas around the country where this is less of an issue, probably because you have a little bit warmer temperatures all the time. However, it is possible that you could be in an area that's much warmer and it really wouldn't be suitable for some of your cooler weather crops, whereas here we're in more of a cool, temperate climate. And so if I purchase seeds that are designed for a warmer climate, for example, they're just not going to be successful here. And I could work really hard at trying to make them grow here, but the chances are good that they just will not be successful in our grow area. And so that's one of the seeds purchasing mistakes that I have made. Going along with that, the third purchasing mistake I have made is that I have bought seeds that take too many days to maturity. Again, kind of going along with that idea of having a more temperate climate, not all grow zones are created equal. You could have a grow zone 8 where the temperatures do get warmer for certain parts of the time, and you could have a grow zone like ours where we just don't have many of those warmer days. And so one of the things that I have looked into would be climate zones and how that impacts us as far as growing plants and things of that nature. And so I'll link to that video down in the description. Because we have more temperate summers, you need to add on additional days in order for plants to come to maturity. A lot of places recommend adding 50% to the days when you're starting them from seeds. That's a lot of the reason why I will start things indoors first or in the greenhouse first and then transplant out just because that's the fastest way to get plants growing in our area. And it's been one of the methods that I have seen the most success with. Because we don't have those really hot summers for the most part, it's harder to get things going, planting it from seed, just out in the ground. The fourth seed purchasing mistake that I have made is ordering too many seeds with a short shelf life. For example, onions typically have a 1-year seed life, and even at that, for this particular variety, the minimum germination is 75%. So I'm already looking at a little bit lower germination rate even within that first year. And so when it comes to onions or other types of plants that have a 1-year seed life, if you have a lot of different varieties or if you purchase too much of them, you may find more of that seed going to waste and you're not getting as much benefit for your dollar. The fifth seed purchasing mistake that I have made is ordering too many varieties of something. This is an area I have really struggled with because I like to experiment and I like to try new things. And so I have a tendency to look through seed catalogs and find new varieties of things that I think would be exciting to try. And so I will order more varieties of the same type of item. For example, I've been known to do this with cabbage and broccoli, and I definitely have this issue with tomatoes as well, where I will order multiple varieties of something. Last year, I promised I was going to do less experimenting and try and stick to the tried and true varieties, which could be an issue that I put it on video because now I'm going to be held to it. But I'm going to do my best this year to try and stick with things that I know will do well in our area. I do have some varieties that I need to use up because I don't want to waste the seed, and they were perfectly fine. It's just the direction that I'm going now has changed a little bit. And then I want to give you a sixth bonus item. The sixth seed purchasing mistake that I have made is purchasing seed for plants that are too big for my space. When I lived in town and I was doing more of an urban backyard garden, I was doing raised beds as my sole garden space, raised beds and containers. And so sometimes I wasn't paying attention to the size of the plant, and that would cause problems because I just had a very compact space and I really needed a compact plant to go in that space. For example, there are some types of cabbage that get really, really large, and there are some types of cabbage that are more compact. They have a little bit smaller head, and the whole plant tends to be a bit smaller. And those smaller compact plants were really what I needed for my smaller space. I wasn't as concerned at that particular point in time with whether or not I was getting an open pollinated variety versus a hybrid variety, mainly because I just didn't have the space to be able to do a lot of seed saving anyhow, and it was more important to me to find things that would fit into my space. So that was something that I had to work on and adjust when I had space restrictions. So if you're trying to do more container gardening, or if you have only kind of a square foot gardening situation going on, you might want to check into the size of the plant and see if that would be okay and suitable for your area. Let me know in the comments below, what are some seed purchasing mistakes that you have made? I know this is something that we don't always want to admit to, but it is something that happens as you're going through the process of trying to figure out which seeds to buy and which ones are not for you. Definitely it can have a learning curve, but it can be exciting at the same time. If today's video was helpful, please click like, and I'd love to have you subscribe and be part of our community here at Blooming Wildwood Homestead. Until next time, bye everyone.